Yeah, hello guys. Yeah, welcome to my page, Timo Starboy, Reality Talk TV. Yeah, I greet you at your location time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, for those people who are already sleeping, good night. Yeah, so we start our program now. So, as you can see, the title, 5 billion naira for yarn of BOLA TINUBU and his wife, luxurious cars. I don't know why, in terms of this austerity, yeah, this economic crisis, and they are the one who say we should tighten our belt and cut our coat according to our size. Now they are not part of the movement that they said, they promised. So this is baffling everybody. I don't know where they are going, and they are the one who say they are billionaires. They are not after Nigeria's money. They have reached enough, to feed the nation, and now they are buying luxurious yacht and cars for their family, not for people. Because the way they put it is kind of a scam. They are saying that it was for Navy, whereas it is them they will enjoy the privilege. So we are just bringing you these live videos, just for you to see what is going on around Nigeria, and the president you selected, how is going to be spending your own tax money. This is so ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous, and it's not acceptable. It is not acceptable. It's totally ridiculous. We don't put our hand in it. We all need to suffer. We all need to enjoy together. Not only one portion of a family that they will be just making things up, and they will be saying and they don't do. So just let me play you the video. Let's hear from Arise TV. Let's go down. This is it. It's a trending issue. So let's hear.
Begin what's trending. The supplementary budget submitted by President Bola Tinubu requesting the allocation of over 7.3 billion naira for the procurement of cars for the presidential villa, as well as an additional 13.5 billion naira for renovations, continues to generate reactions. A further breakdown of the 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget submitted to the National Assembly on Monday revealed that the federal government earmarked 12.7 billion naira for the presidential air fleet and intends to spend 5 billion naira for the purchase of a presidential yacht. The proposed sum is under the capital expenditure of the Nigerian Navy's budget. Additionally, the Navy will require 62.8 billion naira for its operations. The government, however, earmarked a total of 5.5 billion naira for the Education Loan Fund under the Student Loan Act, eliciting outrage among many Nigerians. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Kalu, who wrote, Nigeria has a spending problem, not a revenue problem. Cars for First Lady, 1.5 billion. 1.5. Student loans, 5 billion naira. I mean, the costs for the office of the First Lady are 30% of the student loan allocation for all students across Nigeria that qualify. Explain this to me, please. Well, another Twitter user there goes, presidential yacht belongs to Nigerian Navy, not Tinubu. 2. The history of the procurement and approval started before Buhari. 3. A budgetary proposal by Nigerian Navy can be approved or rejected by the National Assembly. 4. Nigerian Navy proposed 3.3 billion naira to buy presidential yacht during past federal government, not JEJ. 5. Newspaper headlines to sell business. 6. Budgetary approval is not the same as cash release. Well, another Twitter user there goes, the presidential fleet already received a 13 billion naira allocation in the 2023 approved budget. Now, another 12 billion naira allocation in the proposed supplementary budget. Why? The Office of the National Security Advisor also received 73 billion allocation in the 2023 budget. Now another 29 billion. Well, Dr. Abati, I feel like all I'm saying is billion. But I know that, you know, historically, these budgets always elicit reactions by many Nigerians. This presidential fleet budget, I believe, from the past administration, we've spent about 73.3 billion naira on presidential fleet alone. I mean, a lot of questions here. People are asking, where is the money going to come from? Where is this money going to come from? Today, I see on this day, on the cover from the ministerial retreat, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu seek National Assembly nod to borrow another $7.8 billion and another 100 million euros from external loans. Where is the money going to come from, Dr. Abati?
That's the question.
The president yesterday was saying that, you know, borrowing is not a crime. And earlier on this program today, I said, yes, while borrowing is not a crime, Nigerians are concerned about the quantum and the fact that in Nigeria we borrow for consumption, not for production. And that the appropriate emphasis should be on production rather than consumption. Okay, so the argument that borrowing is not a crime, yes, the ordinary man will consider it a crime. If the money that is borrowed, if the money that the government is asking for in the supplementary budget is going to be used to buy new vehicles of over 2 billion, to buy a yacht of 5 billion, to buy vehicles for the First Lady's office for 1.5 billion. And I think that the National Assembly has a responsibility to make sure that they look at these proposals from the presidency with a fine-tooth comb in line with the expectations of Nigerians. Nigerians are being asked every day to make sacrifice. The people in government should also make their own sacrifice. Now, on the question of the yacht, I've seen a comment somewhere saying that, in fact, that the Nigerian Navy used to have a yacht. Well, a yacht, in ordinary understanding, is a luxury jet for pleasure, for pleasure trips. Yes. Yeah, but you know what I was told is that there was a particular yacht that the Navy had called NNS Amaria. Look at that name they even give it. NNS Amaria. And that particular yacht was seized from a former governor, and then the Nigerian Navy converted it for training purposes, you know, and also for ceremonial purposes. But that particular yacht was decommissioned in 2011.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why my hand touched this thing.
What we do not know is whether or not the Nigerian government had ordered another yacht. But, you know, in the thinking of the ordinary man, they will think that this should be a period for austerity on the part of our government officials. And, well, the only yacht that I have boarded is that of Femi Otedola, the billionaire. And, you know, it was luxury that I saw around, you know, for the few minutes that I was inside on board. You know, but the truth of the matter is that when Nigerians hear yacht, they think of luxury. So if there is any background information, because it's even possible that the yacht they are talking about has been ordered, and they say it's the Nigerian Navy that is going to use it.
No, Dr. Abati.
So they need to give us information.
But have you not seen the request of the
5 billion?
It is there.
Yes,
in that,
for the yacht.
So if you are asking for 5 billion, it's not a yacht that has
well, they have a lot lot of explanations.
Okay, exactly.
And Nigerians are saying, we don't need a yacht.
Yes.
We don't need it.
Cut
this is nonsense.
our costs, downsize,
yeah.
and be sensitive to the people's feelings.
I'll take more reactions because there's a lot. This is from Brother Bath, who wrote, Tinubu's presidential yacht, luxury in penury. 133 million Nigerians live in multi-dimensional poverty. 20 million Nigerian children of school age are unable to attend school due to poverty, while 37% of Nigeria's children are malnourished, exposing them to retarded development. 2. Inflation in Nigeria is at all-time high of 26.72%. The country's total debt stands at 87 trillion naira, and its debt service to revenue ratio is a whopping 73.5%. Since removal of fuel subsidy and plummeting naira value, most Nigerians go to bed hungry. Businesses are closing down, while job loss is on the increase. Amidst this harsh economy, pains and penury, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu wants to procure a presidential luxury yacht. 5.
Everybody
Can someone justify
angry
this for me again, please? A lot
about
of
this,
questions. Then let me take Okweoluwa, who wrote, and this is something that I want to discuss. The USA used to have a presidential yacht called USS Sequoia. The Sequoia is a yacht that served 8 US presidents, the last being Herbert Hoover. Jimmy Carter became president when the USA economy had just exited a recession and was battling inflation and unemployment. Jimmy Carter, setting a cost-cutting example, ordered the presidential yacht sold in 1977. Till date, the USA, a $33 trillion economy, does not have a presidential yacht. Nigeria is in the same situation as USA in 1977. Rather than cut costs, our public office holders have gone on a spending spree with reckless abandon, as though it's out of fashion. You ask Nigerians to endure pain, but what pain are you enduring? Whether it will be funded or not. Why is the presidential yacht in the supplementary budget? Why the rush? I'd like to come to you, Ayo, on this story, but I also want to say that, like I said earlier, this has always elicited public outcry. Yes. Back in 2016, former President Buhari had said he was going to sell 2 presidential jets out of 10. Yes. We don't know if that has happened. But this is the point that I want to make.
Okay, so I'm really glad that you read Okweoluwa's tweet, because that was where I was going to come from the US and the Sequoia. There are many countries that actually have a presidential yacht. Mm-hmm. And let me put it out there, because it's under the Navy does not mean it is meant for combat or meant for security. It is actually, in fact, in the US, it used to be called the floating White House, and was given to the president and high-ranking officials in government to get away from public life, a little luxury, so that even though it comes under the Navy's purview. So let's not get deceived by, it's under the Navy's budget. It is still what is supposed to be a yacht. It's not meant to go to battle. It's not a weapon of warfare. It is not going to be used by the Navy. It's going to be used by the president, just in the way that we have the presidential fleet. So let me just put that out there. There are other countries like Egypt, Finland, India, Italy, Philippines, Russia, and the likes that have a yacht, a presidential yacht, and it is for their presidents to enjoy. So there's nothing, so let's put that to rest. Going back to Woye's tweet that, it's for the Navy, etc. Let's not put propaganda on this one. It's under the Navy's purview, but it's going to be for the president's use and leisure. And then it goes back to comparisons. Yes. 5 billion naira. Oji, it sounds outrageous, especially under the current economic reality. And then at the same meeting, they put 5 billion naira for education. And this is the same president at the retreat yesterday who had talked about the importance of education, especially as a tool to tackling poverty. And he talked about the fact that this administration was going to pay very close attention to education. Of course, tertiary education or student loan is just a small fraction of the allocation to education, but it just smirks of it almost is ludicrous. What's the money going to go to to poverty alleviation? Yes, they talked about 15 million households, 25,000 naira per month, and people are saying it's not enough. We have the presidential fleet. Why not sell off some of those flights? Don't forget that a few days ago, just on this show, we're talking about the president's son taking one of the presidential fleet private jet for a private visit for a polo match in one of the northern countries. We have that on ground. Abuse of power, abuse of money, especially allocation, especially at this time. We are also to tighten our belts. Here's what Nigerians would like to hear from this government. A demonstration of the fact that they feel the pulse of the people. And this is done by even if it's a public show, to identify with the poorest of the poor in Nigeria. Cut all these extra expenses. Why are we buying new cars for the First Lady's office? Why? She had other cars. These people are not poor people. So in the interest of Nigerians, can they do something altruistic? Can they reject some of these things that even come with the paraphernalia of their office, just to show Nigerians that we are in this together? And so when you're talking, you're not just talking, but you're walking the talk as well. Very important. But wrong signals, I hope it is totally squashed, not just before it gets to the house, but even at the FEC, it ought to have been totally done away with. I think it's an insult for Nigerians to see this kind of thing.
I love your points, Ayo. And you just hit the nail on the head. 1.5 billion naira for the office of the First Lady. Cars for the office of the First Lady. People are also asking, are these new costs reflecting the new FX rate? I mean, the price could be higher, wouldn't it?
Of course. By the time you look at the price of a dollar now, definitely it will go up.
Yes.
But I was going to respond to what Ruben was saying, that the Senate or the National Assembly should reject it. Which National Assembly
They are
we
all
talking
corrupt.
about? Please,
They are
let's
all
get
corrupt
realistic about the state of
They will
this
not do a
country.
jack.
In a situation where the National Assembly
They will not
itself
do a jack.
is looking for how many
All of them are the same page.
billions to buy their own SUVs, which a member of the Senate is saying we need it because of the bad road, which we have superintended and failed to make sure that those roads, we carry out our constituency duties and oversight duties. They did not carry that out. They did not make sure that the roads are good.
Instead of
making sure that the roads are good,
they left the job
they are
undone.
focused completely on
Nonsense
don't worry
people.
about the road. We will buy vehicles that can survive on those roads. It's completely unacceptable.
It doesn't make
and
sense.
it runs from
Senseless.
the top to the bottom of our leadership in this
Senseless
country.
leaders.
And that is what we've got to focus on. If the president is saying, oh, I'm going to have KPIs for you, I'm going to ask this fantastic woman, Hadiza Bala Usman, to monitor. Who is monitoring the president? We are the citizens. We own this country. We have to ask the question, Mr. President, it's not acceptable. We're not saying your wife is not beautiful. She does not. She deserves to get a good vehicle, but you cannot spend that amount of money and spend it on vehicles for your wife, and then you buy a yacht for yourself, because if you say something is a presidential yacht, it is not for anybody else. The Navy cannot use the presidential yacht, just like the presidential aircraft cannot be used by the Air Force. It is meant for the president.
Well, we don't want them to buy a yacht. We don't want them to buy a yacht. But as for the Navy, if you have a ship, whether it's a yacht or whatever, it will be done under the Navy. That's why I refer to NNS Amaria.
Yes.
But we don't want a yacht. Even the presidential fleet is controlled by the Nigerian Air Force. Yes. So don't let us misinform people.
Yes.
This is the reality. But we don't want a yacht. Whether they are using it for training, as they claim they were using
we don't want
NNS Amaria.
It's too expensive for the country now.
In 2011.
Ruben, I
It's a
would
borrow money.
on when you say something is presidential fleet.
No, I think you made the point already.
It's clear.
Which is, it is meant for the
It's
president.
meant for the president.
Just clarifying that it's going to be under the
Yes.
Navy.
It should be under the Navy,
those are the 2 points that are